Welcome to Stitchcraft. We're excited to have you play in our demonstrations as well as virtual tournaments for the COVID crisis since people can't attend gaming conventions. So thank you for taking the time to check us out. This is a short tutorial on not only how to quickly play the game, but also how to use the user interface for the digital version of the game. So when you open the client, this is the first page you will see. Go ahead and fill in your name, which I've already done, and you can actually modify which color you want to appear as during the game itself. The pattern set that we're going to be primarily using for these demonstrations is Loom, but if you want to check out Attrition and Racketeering later, you can feel free to do so. If you have been assigned a password to want to make sure that you get paired with a specific person during tournament play or a friend of yours for playing outside of tournaments, you just need to simply come up with one or use a designated password from the tournament organizer. So once you have input your password, you can just click Find Match, and then once the other person enters the password and also selects Find Match, you will be auto-paired together. If you want to just go into blind matchmaking, just don't put any password, and as soon as another person enters the same pattern set as you do in Find Match, the two of you will be paired together. So for this, we are going to be going through the game, playing versus the AI. If at any point you would like to see the different pattern powers, you can select the appropriate color down here, and for whatever pattern set you have selected, it will give you that power. So there is unravels for the Loom pattern set. So you can always refer to those. We also have PDFs of those materials if you'd like to print out an excerpt. For text instructions on how to play, you can click How to Play. During the game, you can open the game log, which I'll show you here in a moment. Can I? Yep, make that go away. Change log for future updates, credits for those working on the game, settings to adjust your volume and sound settings for the digital effects. And then during the game, you can forfeit or leave the game. So all of that is there at the bottom. So we'll jump into a game here versus the computer opponent, which is fully functional. A random person will be selected to go first. Both players start off with a hand of 3. The person who goes first only skips their first draw, which is what happens at the beginning of your turn. So you'll notice Hoover here, our AI opponent, started with 3 cards, did not get to draw, and spent both of their actions putting cards to the tableau, or the display. So actions that you can take in this game, you can put cards face down on the table as one type of action, or you can click to your face down tapestries to bring them face up into your showcase, which triggers their power based off of the pattern set selected for the game. And so it's confirming that we want to put this down and telling us what it does, just to make sure that we understand. So we just simply click confirm, and it automatically passes to the next person. So you can see that we here are up here with our color. It's saying that there are 3 cards in this person's hand and that they are currently the active player with 2 active actions. If we look over at the user interface for Hoover, they have no cards in hand and no actions because they are not currently the active player. So if I ever wanted to see what has happened previously in the game, I can open up the game log and scroll up. Maybe I missed a marquee message and I want to see where we are in the game. I can just go there and it tracks it. A lot of times when I'm playing, I will simply just leave this window open. So we're going to click through, I'm just going to take some actions, and I'm hoping moving forward that I can display all 8 of the different powers, what the user interface looks like. So if you want to see your opponent's discard, you can zoom in. If you want to see their deck, it actually tracks known information for you. Like if I find out what's at the top of their deck or what's at the bottom, it will be displayed here. Same for mine. This is my chest or deck. And here is my scrap pile, which is synonymous for the discard pile as well. So this is the display, and this is the showcase out here. You can see your opponents out here, or up here, I should say. And the first player to get to 4 of one color in their showcase, or 7 of the 8 different colors in their showcase, is the winner. So you just kind of go back and forth, taking turns until one of you completes the win condition. So we're actually getting a pretty good draw to show the different effects. So I'm going to start off with read. We can look at the top 2 tapestry of our opponent's chest, put one on top and one on bottom, and we're waiting to see if they're going to counter. They don't. We definitely want to put that one on bottom, although their weft can just get that from the bottom later. but there we are. So they're using Unravel to destroy our reed, which is very rude of them. So our reed is going to go into the scrap pile now from play. There's another color we haven't seen. So I will similarly go ahead and destroy one of theirs. So that's how we user interface with the Unravel power. We just simply select any tapestry in their showcase or one in their display, and it will go to their scrap pile, which I will show here in a second. As you can, well, camera angle for VFX. We can see their heddles, which I destroyed, is now in their scrap pile. So I now will go ahead and play that, and they have hit us with an orange power, and so we know that this is at the top of their chest, so they're going to draw that on their next turn, but we drew Moths, which is kind of the base power's counterspell. And for those of you familiar with other games, so that can prevent somebody else's tapestry from resolving when they go to flip it up. So we'll show that here in a little bit. So I'll just keep going through these powers. The weft allowed us to draw the bottom card of our deck. The white draws us the top, but also gives us a look at the opponent's bottom. So we know the bottom card of their deck is a Heddles. Tapestry, I should say, not card. And then when we use Treatle, we draw 2 and discard 2. So we'll go ahead and resolve that. And this interface sometimes gets people, so we're going to select 2 tapestries and it's telling us to confirm that we want to actually discard those 2. So I can cancel if I wanted to select a different 2, but I do already have those in place, so I'm going to discard them to the scrap pile. And we now see those in our scrap pile here. Yeah, he can have a warp. So that prompt is coming up. If I had a Moths face down, I would be able to reveal it in response during that prompt to stop the power from resolving, and our Moths and their selected tapestry would go into the respective players' scrap piles. So we're going to go ahead and throw a couple Moths on the board just so that we can highlight that here in a moment. And then I can start showing you how some of these other powers look. So if we want to get something from our scrap pile, Shuttle allows us to do that. And we simply reveal it. And on resolution, we can say, you know what, I really need that orange. So we get to put it back into our hand. 2, 4, 6. So we'll go ahead and play Heddles. This one helps us look at the top 3 tapestries of our chest, and we decide which one to keep on top, and then the other 2 will go on the bottom in an order we choose. So we'll see if they counter it. The AI generally likes to counter that one, so it's kind of interesting that they let that go through. So all of these are pretty good, so we'll go ahead and take that because it allows us to get cards from the bottom. And then we'll put this one on the bottom, and the Treatle will now be second from the bottom. And we can always go to our chest to see known information. Once again, we know the weft is at the top, and then we've got Heddles followed by Treatle at the bottom. And similarly, if we used a bunch of oranges on our opponents, we would be able to see that. So he is trying to destroy our tapestry, and we don't want him to do that. So we will go ahead and reveal Moths. So this is how the blue power works. To prevent that from resolving, you can counter a counter. So if they have Moths, they could also reveal that to ensure we don't get to stop that from happening. So it did successfully resolve. So we stopped them from, we prevented them from resolving that Unravel on us. And we need one more color for our 7-card victory. So we'll just go ahead and throw this out, just see if he has a counter. And if he doesn't, we win, which it resolved. So we have won the game, and that was a perfect display in 8 cards, the 8 different powers of Loom. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and looking forward to answering your questions in the Discord channel. The link will be below, and if you are participating in one of our events, I hope that this video showed you how to use the interface, as well as gave you a brief introduction on the different card powers. Thank you for taking your time.